Hello everyone, today we're going to be looking at the Moto G Stylus 5G. This is a 2021 edition. So first thing first, let's go over the phone. When it comes to the screen, it has 6.8-inch screen, so it is pretty large. When it comes to the bezels, there's a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the sides, but it is mostly screen. Now on the bottom, we have 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C for charging, speaker, and then we have the stylus here. So all you have to do is just click on it, then it pops out, then you pull it out. Now when it comes to the stylus, it does come in handy. You can actually do quite a lot of notes. So you can take notes, you can even draw. I'm not a good artist, but I do end up taking quite a lot of notes from time to time when I do need them. Sometimes you just want to write down notes and it translates into the notepad really nicely. Also, what you can do with that stylus is you can pretty much use it as a finger as well, which is a good thing. If you don't want to use finger, you can just use the stylus and control the screen that way. You can even type with the stylus as well. Now let's check the rest of the phone. Now on the side we have the power lock button, then we have the volume rockers, microphone on top. And then on this side, we have SIM card as the card expansion. Now this supports, I believe, up to 1 terabyte of the expansion, which is really nice. And then on the back, we do have quad cameras with the flash, and then we also have a fingerprint sensor. This is my favorite spot for the fingerprint sensor, and it works really good. Honestly, it works 100% of the time. So all you have to do is, once the screen is on, all you have to do is just lay it on top. You don't even need to press it, and it works. Honestly, works 100 out of 100 times, as you guys can see. Now what will happen if I don't do that, or for example, let's say I use my different finger that I haven't scanned. So if I did press this one and now it just won't unlock, it says fingerprint not recognized, meaning if somebody else gets your phone, they won't be able to unlock it. Now when it comes to display, it comes with 6.8 inches, 2400 times 1080 pixels, 22:9 ratio, 387 pixels per inch. This is IPS LCD with 60 Hz refresh rate. It also has ambient light sensor and the proximity sensor. So the display itself, it is pretty bright. Let me turn it up all the way. It does get really bright. Usually most of the time I just use it at 30-40% when I'm at home. If you go outside, the screen is very visible even if the sun hits it, so of course that's a good thing. Display also has some pretty awesome colors for the IPS LCD. It has really good angles as well, and I do love the screen. This is very large, so it definitely comes in handy if you're doing a lot of browsing, even when it comes to video games. So if you're playing like racing games or stuff like that, it's a really large screen. I mean, this is almost the size of some small tablets. Now when it comes to the performance, this phone comes with the Snapdragon 480 5G CPU, which is an octa-core processor. It also has 128 gigabytes of storage or 256 gigabytes of storage. Now when it comes to RAM, I've actually seen this phone in few different variations. I've seen it with the 4 gigabytes of RAM, I've seen it with the 6, and I also seen it with the 8. Just make sure you end up reading the description, you get the one you want. What I have here is the one with 6 gigabytes. I also have the previous version with the 4 gigabytes of RAM, but even with that 4 gigabytes of RAM, this phone performs really good. I have the 6 gigabyte version, so it's definitely more future proof, so that at 2 extra gigabytes of RAM really comes in handy, you know, a couple years from now. Now, as I mentioned, the storage 128 gigabytes or 256 also has the micro SD expansion slot on the side, so you can pop in up to 1 terabyte. I never really had any issues with the storage. Now, when it comes to the operating system, this runs Android 11 out of the box, but it did have the upgrade to the Android 12. I'm not sure if it's going to receive upgrade to the Android 13. Now, not really a big difference between the 12 and 13. I'm still getting all the patches and all that. I believe just yesterday I received a couple of the patches, so that's a good thing, you know. Overall, really smooth experience with this phone. Nothing bad to say about the performance. Day-to-day thing, you know, downloading the apps, playing games, browsing, watching Netflix, watching YouTube and stuff like that. This phone performs really good. Now, when it comes to the battery, this phone comes with the 5000 milliamp battery inside. It does support fast charging, but only at 10 watts. So it will charge fast, but not as fast as some of the flagship phones. The battery itself, 5000 milliamp, honestly lasts me at least 2 days if I'm using a medium to heavy use. It has pretty good battery life. Now, I noticed a lot of the Motorola phones do have the same 5000 milliamp battery, and all the ones that I had so far, including this one, they do last a long time. So to get 2 days of battery life on such a large screen, it's pretty impressive. Now let's look at the cameras on the back. As I mentioned earlier, quad camera. So we have 48 megapixel main with the aperture of 1.8. Then we have secondary 8 megapixel ultra wide with the aperture of 2.2. Third camera is 5 megapixel macro, and then we have the fourth camera, 2 megapixel depth camera. Now, usually I just concentrate on using the main camera. I think the macro camera is mostly for the software, same with the depth camera, and then ultra wide is, of course, if you want to fit more into the screen. When it comes to the cameras and the quality, it is pretty good for a budget-friendly phone, especially if you have good lighting. So if you're in a room that's lighted up, it's gonna take really good pictures. All right, so here we are on the camera. So you can do a few different settings. So you can do the flash on, you can also do the HDR on or off. And then here you can change the different aspect ratios. So you can do 3:4, 9:16, or you can do a full one. And then here, if we go settings, there's more different settings here. One that I wanted to talk about is the rear photo resolution. So let's go with the high, and then we can change the same with the front facing one. You can also do selfie photo mirror, but let's take a picture of this now. So all right, so let me see if I can take one that's kind of close by where I'm fitting in the controller and the games as well. All right, so here we go. Let's check the quality. Now, as I'm zooming it in, as you guys can see, the quality is pretty good. I mean, you gotta keep in mind this is a very budget-friendly phone, so you're not gonna be getting a flagship camera, but it does take pretty good pictures, especially if you have good lighting, as I do right now. So the cameras do a really good job. Now on the front, we also have a 60 megapixel front facing camera for your selfies. Again, takes pretty good selfies. Now, I also want to mention this phone does have the 5G, so if you do have internet provider that gives you that 5G, you will definitely have much faster speeds. Also, this does have 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I still use wired headphones, so that's definitely a plus for me. Overall, a pretty good budget phone, and I would definitely recommend this. Thank you guys for watching.